Islam Makhachev is not competing with Jack Della Maddalena, Kamaru Usman, Carlos Prates, anybody. He is competing with Jon Jones, George St-Pierre, and Demetrious Johnson. Yes, he is going for GOAT status. After winning his second title last night, a unanimous decision, a little bit boring, but a unanimous decision nonetheless over Jack Della Maddalena. It is not the welterweight division Islam Makhachev is chasing. It's greatness. It's the giants that he's standing upon the shoulders of. Wow. Yes, so I gotta say, like, I gotta take my L, boys, because I was like, Jack Della Maddalena has some tools to win this fight. He's a good fighter. He has some really good skills. And actually, in this article that I wrote here, I talk about those tools that Jack Della Maddalena needed to bring to the table. I also talked about what he could find himself in trouble with, specifically crossing feet as he's switching stances, just getting too greedy in the pocket, and basically everything I said Jack Della Maddalena needed to do, he didn't do, and everything I said he needed to not do, he did. Before we get into this episode, guys, in the description, I've got my boxing channel, Discord, and Substack. You can go follow all that stuff, get this right to your inbox. Also, you can subscribe. You help the channel out. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, boys. I mean, you win some and you lose a lot, and around here, we lose a lot. It was just a pure domination from Islam Makhachev on the night. Jack Della Maddalena, he had that fantastic showing against Belal Muhammad, and he looked great in that fight, and that's really what gave me a lot of hope. But you go back and you watch, like, the Gilbert Burns fight, what was it, Jeff Neal, these kind of fights, and he really kind of struggles with wrestlers. But the fact that he took on Belal Muhammad really gave me, optimism for Jack Della Maddalena. Instead, we had the unstoppable force, the Dagestani monster of Islam Makhachev. He just comes in. There's nothing you can do. He is literally chasing, not like, he's like Nick Saban. He's not chasing Kirby Smart or Les Miles or Coach O. He's chasing like Bear Bryant when he was at Alabama. That's where Islam is now. He's chasing the Mighty Mouses. He's chasing the GSPs, the Jon Jones. Those fighters are there for him to compare to. And I mean, guys, I'm gonna say it, like, he's top 5 of all time. Like, Islam is already top 5 of all time. 16 fight win streak, 2 belts. What's there to argue? Yeah, I understand his lightweight reign was plagued by pullouts and last minute replacements. Sure, but if he's really good enough to go up to welterweight and make a good run, and watching like a Carlos Prates in the past or Michael Morales, the 2 new contenders, and you got Ian Gary versus Belal Muhammad next weekend, doesn't really give me much hope when it comes to anybody being able to dethrone Islam Makhachev at this time. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's weird because, like I mentioned, Jack Della Maddalena looked not a thing like he did against Belal Muhammad. Now, granted, Belal Muhammad's throwing more of the volume that Jack Della Maddalena actually enjoys, but Islam Makhachev, he's calm, cool, and collected. The low kick really early tore up the lead leg of JDM. I mean, as a fighter that moves a lot, that's an incredible read. And, we've seen Jack Della Maddalena get kicked in the legs before, and, he suffers from it, but he usually grits through it. But, like, these low kicks that Islam was throwing were just another level. Like, they were on the point every single time, on the point. He really was, like, making him hurt. And you could see it on his face, like, wincing and stuff in grappling exchanges. Like, his leg was compromised majorly. It wasn't because, he had pre-existing injury come in. No, none of that crap. Don't give me none of that. No, Islam just beat the brakes off of him. It beat the brakes, not really. He just controlled the fight. I won't say beat the brakes. The legacy of Islam is crazy. He's got a few fights left. How many? I don't know. I don't think Islam knows. They'll know when they know. He comes up against, say, Michael Morales, who's a freaking giant. Like, what if he gets battered by Michael Morales, all just off of a freak 1-2 up the middle? He needs to go out there and shoot like Hamzat did against Kevin Holland. But his legacy, man, it's already to a point where, like, a lot of people are like, oh, you got to look at, like, Joe Rogan, especially, like, you look at fighters at their peak. Look at Anderson Silva at his peak. BJ Penn, all the fighters that, you know, have bunches of losses afterwards at their peak. Cain Velasquez had a really high peak. Yeah, I mean, but they still went out there and lost 9 in a row, 4 in a row, 7 in a row, whatever it is. You got to count in their body of work. So we don't know if Islam will hit one of those stages. I don't think so. You know, I think he'll retire before that gets there. I think he maybe got 2 years left. We got 3, 4 fights of Islam Makhachev left. What's he, 27 and 1 or something like that now? Let me look it up real quick. He's 28 and 1. We might only have 2 fights left. You know, 30 fights. 30 fights. That's kind of what Khabib was trying to do, and you know, more power to him. The legacy, though, will be not like, oh, he was the best lightweight of all time, you know, or he's the best welterweight of all time, or whatever. It would be very incredibly hard for him to become, you know, honestly at this point, best welterweight of all time, because of, you know, George St-Pierre. But when it comes to accomplishments, you know, the win streak, that's a big feather in his cap. You know, that's a big feather. Like that in itself, tying Anderson Silva, likely going to beat Anderson Silva's 16-fight win streak. It is really what separates him apart with these 2 titles, because nobody's done that. You know, you don't go and win 2 titles by winning 16 fights in a row. It took Islam, like, he's a special case because it took him so long to get to the title. You got that loss to Adriano Martins, but it took him so long to get that title. And once he got it, you know, he managed to fight Volkanovski twice. You know, he beat Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, and then Renato Moicano. And now you throw the Jack Della Maddalena on top of that. Like, he's building a legacy that is like no other. And imagine if he gets to 17, 18, 19 wins. Let's say he fights 3 more times and wins out. 20. Who's to say he's not the greatest ever? Oh, Jon Jones cheated. Shut up. George St-Pierre. George got knocked out. He got beat twice. Shut up. Demetrious couldn't win a second belt. He lost to Dominic Cruz. Shut up. Islam's legacy is going down as one of the best of all time. Plain and simple. As for what's next, I mean, we saw a lot of great talent on this card, and we have another top tier fight with Belal Muhammad and Ian Machado Gary in Doha this weekend coming up. So that's another one that could kind of shake out. You got Kamaru Usman, who Islam seems keen on fighting. You know, Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, they got big wins this weekend. We'll talk about those in a minute. But you look at whatever is next for Islam Makhachev, and yeah, I mean, Usman is an interesting fight, and he has the wrestling abilities, but he's so inactive, like, we don't know how much of the cliff he's fallen off of yet. You know, we don't know if he has the knees to wrestle with Islam Makhachev like he needs to. Carlos Prates, we saw him get out-grappled by Ian Machado Gary, or P-Stub. Saw Leon Edwards do exactly what Islam does, the wrestling off the fence, tripping off the fence, and controlled Carlos Prates for a round. Now, Prates gave us that cool picture where he's like, you know, but Islam's not going to control that way. He's going to do like he did against Jack Della Maddalena. Put you flat on your back and control you and beat you up slowly and methodically, breaking your will to live. That's what Islam Makhachev does. He's not Khabib where he's going out there and smashing people. He's just breaking you down systematically, slowly, and doing what he needs to do to win. So as for what's next, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters what Islam Makhachev does next. I look at his body of work, and yeah, like I'm not big on the Renato Moicano win. Like, I think that's kind of a unfair win for him at that point in his career. But it's not his fault. Like, it's Arman Saryukin's fault. Everybody wants him to fight Ilia Topuria. Like, I have no desire to see Ilia at 170. Looks he gonna be fat, you know? Like, no. That version of Islam runs through Ilia Topuria. Like, there's nothing he can do. So catch him coming in? No, he's not. He's not. He's going to get pressed back to the fence and shot on. Even like Khabib, like his whole thing was like, oh, he only shoots against the fence. Islam Makhachev doesn't just shoot against the fence. Like, there's nowhere he can't wrestle. He's a Sambo world champion, not the fake world champion like Khabib is. He's an actual Sambo fierce world champion. Nobody's beating Islam. We're never going to see him lose again. Betting against him is giving your money to, you know, who are the bettors, the odd makers, the bookies. Nobody is beating Islam Makhachev. Just get it out of your brain. Now, in the co-main event, I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised that the woman who went toe-to-toe with the former 145-pound champion beat a 115-pound fighter. Valentina Shevchenko, basically Islam Makhachev, Zhang Weili, a much smaller fighter than her. Can't say I'm not surprised. Go watch Valentina Shevchenko fight Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Like, Valentina Shevchenko is the perfect size for 125. And we're not going to spend much time on this because this fight was really, very bad. And it hurts my feelings too because I love Zhang Weili. She's one of the best female fighters of all time, just technical, in a technical sense. But she didn't have anything much, if something was little, for Shevchenko at all. She was faster than Valentina Shevchenko. Didn't matter. She had to cover so much distance that Valentina Shevchenko could get a good read on it, get a clinch, take her to the ground. And it was wash, rinse, repeat over and over. Didn't stop one bit. And as the fight goes on, I'm like, come on, you're going to have to really change something up, Zhang Weili. You're going to have to really change something up. And early, you see her like stepping to the inside of the kicks that Zhang Weili likes to throw, and really landing. And then Zhang Weili's like, or Valentina Shevchenko, I mean, and Shevchenko's like, you know, I can just grab onto you instead, throw a kick and grab you instead of letting you punch me, take you down, control you. The size was incredibly different, and it was just not a fair match. This is why we have weight classes, though. This is why we have weight classes. Like, Valentina Shevchenko is really big, and she fought Amanda Nunes, two very close fights. Some people thought she won one or two of them. Smart fighter, too, as much as we like to dog on her, but, like, she is smart. She knows what she's doing. Like, what's there not to love about Valentina Shevchenko? Let's be real. Like, there's not much because she's amazing. Well, she's boring. That's what's not to love. And she, like, literally just stands there. It's crazy. Because, like, Zhang Weili's like, I'm bouncing. I'm coming in and out. I'm going to try and blitz you and get out. And Shevchenko's not having any of it. Hurts my feelings, bro. It hurts my feelings. So, like, Joe Rogan asked her about a million times, are you going back down to 115? Are you going back down to 115? Because, you know, she's the former strawweight champion. Yeah, I mean, her versus Mackenzie Dern is you know, you give her the title shot back because that was her title she vacated. And we've seen Zhang Weili come back and look good in rematches, or after losses. Not really. Just not, Mackenzie Dern's not going to be a rematch. So, you know, she wins at 150. She beats Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie won't be able to get her to the ground, and Zhang Weili can literally just beat her up on the feet. Like, Mackenzie, people don't understand this, but, like, Mackenzie Dern's a great, like, she's got hands that are serviceable, and she's good early on. But, like, as the fight wears on, she kind of slows down, and she can't take anybody down, ever. Her takedowns are horrible. She's not going to piece up Zhang Weili on the feet. She's not going to take Zhang Weili down to do cool ground and pound and jiu-jitsu. Like, there's no shot for Mackenzie Dern, the new strawweight champion. I posted on, like, X, I posted the video or the gif of Puncher, no, wait. I was like, fourth round, and I'm like, this is Mackenzie Dern watching Zhang Weili get beat by Valentina right now. Like, Zhang Weili's coming. She cometh. Zhang Weili cometh. And she's going to win the title back. I guess you can call her, what would it be, a 3-time champion? Would it be? Yeah, she might be a 3-time champion. That'd be crazy. 3-time champion for Zhang Weili. That's cool. Now, for Valentina Shevchenko, you know, she got Natalia Silva. Erin Blanchfield won her fight on this card. But she also flirted with the idea of fighting Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison did talk about it. Like, hey, I want Valentina Shevchenko to come up and fight me before the White House card where I fight Amanda. So you got to give Amanda time to get clean and in the testing pool, right? So yeah, let's book her versus Kayla Harrison. Watch Kayla Harrison throw her through the earth. Like, the advantages that Valentina had over Zhang Weili in this fight, it's going to be the exact same that Kayla Harrison has over Valentina Shevchenko. Like, y'all realize that, right? Like, I'm not crazy for thinking that, am I? She's going to throw her through the canvas. And, like, Valentina Shevchenko's not going to be able to stand there in that static stance that she always does. Because, like, Kayla Harrison, the former 155 PFL champion, if she gets a hold of you, 2-time gold medalist in judo, she might throw you out of the cage. Like, out, just get out of here. Bring me somebody else. Where's Pena at? I'll beat her too. Same night. Kayla Harrison probably could beat Juliana Pena and Valentina Shevchenko on the same night. Probably be like, you fight Juliana Pena first, and then fight Valentina. Like, she could do it. I believe it. But I do like the fight for Harrison. You know, give her another legend to fight. You know, she's already beat Holly Holm. Juliana Pena, if we're gonna call her a legend, sure. But I don't give her much of a shot in that fight. Like, she struggled with the size of Nunes, and maybe it was the power. But, like, if Kayla Harrison, she's a different animal, which is what makes the Nunes fight so intriguing, aside from the fact that she's been retired for 2 years or more. So, count me in, but count me in because I just want to see Valentina Shevchenko lose again. That's it. That is all. Now to the non-title fights, I'm still not sold on Michael Morales. Incredibly athletic. No matter how much he beat up Sean Brady, though, you can't get me on the hype train. Not yet. He's not showing me the skills of a great fighter. What happens if a Shavkat Rakhmonov grabs onto you and pushes you against the fence? Where's that athleticism at now, big guy? Huh? Where's it at? You don't have it. Sean Brady showed the exact same problem he had against Belal Muhammad in the first fight. A 1-2 down the middle, and he is like toast. Just off with his head. And Michael Morales took that literally and tried to behead him the rest of the fight. First round finish. 1-2. It did him in again. Like, Sean Brady, it's crazy because I did, in the preview episode, I talked about, like, you know, his win streak is good, but you look at, like, who he's beat. Gilbert Burns, washed. Leon Edwards, we now know is probably washed. He might not be that high of a tier. Might just be opportunistic matchmaking. He's the beneficiary of. And Michael Morales is the, you know, beneficiary of that. Because I don't think he's number 1 or 2 fighter anymore. Or 3, or whatever he's going to come in ranked at. Sean Brady, I have a hard time buying him as elite. And they build him as this elite fighter going into that Belal fight that he had where he was finished. And again, he was like knocking on the door, knock, knock. And nobody answered, and he couldn't like bust his way through the door or anything, break through that door, that glass ceiling, and say, hey, I am him. I'm the next guy. I don't care who Leon Edwards or Jack Della Maddalena or Islam Makhachev if he wins, you know, because that was before Islam fought. I don't care what happens. I'm him. I'm the man. I beat him. Every single one of them. He couldn't do it. Couldn't quite get there. Actually, come on. Let's go take a look over here at the web because let's take a look at this old win streak he had. Michael Morales and Sean Brady right here. Boom. You look, since that Belal fight, Kelvin Gastelum, old. Gilbert Burns, old. Leon Edwards, I guess he's old now. These 3 fighters, you know, you can't sit there and tell yourself, like, those are good wins because we know what level they're at now. Like, you're struggling that much with Kelvin Gastelum. And, like, Gastelum is a tough out for anybody, sure, but Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards, like, he ran through Leon Edwards. Of course, people thought he was good. But again, he hasn't fixed up the same problems that he's always had. The 1-2 straight up the pipe. That's all it took. Now, we do got to give Michael Morales credit because he hurt him and didn't let him off the hook. But he also didn't go, he did go crazy. Got very unruly. He was massive, which makes a fight with Islam Makhachev kind of interesting. But not really, because we know what Islam's going to do to that guy. But he was massive over Sean Brady. Huge. Towered over him. He got unruly, though. Throwing wild punches when Brady got hurt. Put him out. But that's not what a good fighter does. It's what Deontay Wilder does. Gets wild when he has somebody hurt. Cost him fights with good fighters. Tyson Fury. Joseph Parker. If y'all call that. But, like, when I'm looking at Michael Morales, I'm like, what happens if he goes longer than a minute? 5 minutes? What happens if he gets to the second or third round? Shoot, what happens if Shavkat Rakhmonov holds him against the fence for 4 rounds? What does he look like then? Is he finished? Shavkat's huge. Shavkat could, he'd pick on somebody your own size, Michael Morales. Shavkat Rakhmonov. Like, that's a perfect fight to get Shavkat back, right? You wanna get him into a title shot while Islam Makhachev fights Kamaru Usman, which is gonna happen. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus either Carlos Prates, please no, or Michael Morales. That's the fight to make. And you're kidding yourself if they're not gonna do that. Shavkat needs to get back to it though. He needs to go and he needs to get ready to fight. He will. He'll get there. But at the same time, I need to see him go longer than a couple of minutes. That's really it. That's all there is to it. My biggest favorite part of the night was Carlos Prates, who is, my new favorite contender. I still don't give him hope against Islam Makhachev, but he can still be my favorite, right? You don't have to have favorite fighters that are undefeated. That's the Floyd Mayweather disease that everybody else has. You don't need that. Find you a fighter that's fun, cool, smoke cigarettes, and you got yourself a winner. No, it turns out Carlos Prates is him. Knocked out Leon Edwards in a second round. Not the first round, the second round. I loved it. Oh my gosh, Prates is so cool. He is just cool, man. Like, oh, the cigarettes is so cringy. Nah, bro. Nah, that's cool. But there are some issues when it comes to the top of the division, which is now striker heavy. Like a Sean Brady, what happens if he puts him against the fence? Oh, wait, Prates throws a 1-2, so never mind. Sean Brady's out. Shavkat or Islam. Let's just go to the extreme. Leon Edwards was able to control him in the first round. And that's where we got the iconic photo where he's like, but Islam did take him down. He worked his way up, but I'm not Islam, sorry. Leon Edwards did take him down, but he worked his way up. Islam ain't letting you up. He keeps you flat on your back. Ask Jack Della Maddalena. Actually, you know what? Let's put Carlos Prates versus Jack Della Maddalena. That seems cool, right? That'd be really fun. Or no, he just lost to Ian Gary. He picked him apart. Oh, that was fun. That was very fun. But yeah, like it's completely understandable what Leon Edwards was bringing to the table. The whole wrestling approach and how he wanted to control a faster fighter, because it was very clear that Carlos Prates is a faster fighter. Like, even going into that fight, you could tell that Carlos Prates was the faster fighter. But you can't just get nuked like that. Like, you gotta grab onto him, dude. Like, what were you thinking? It might be the dolt of the year, Oh, Leon Edwards is washed. That's 3 in a row now. It was crazy because he lost to Beneil, just got run through by Beneil, got submitted by Sean Brady, and now Carlos Prates nukes him, puts him out of his misery. He was like laying on the canvas smiling. Oh, he got me. Like Leon Edwards knew he got. That's what happens when you get. But it was nice to see Carlos Prates take advantage of the southpaw, basic southpaw orthodox stuff. Outside foot wins, or sometimes outside foot wins. That's a conversation for another day. We'll get into that later, or one day, not today. It's too much. But Carlos Prates steps deep to the outside, like a huge crow hop, and throws a 1, and then a huge 2. It was a left cross, right up the middle. Just bonked him. And goes back smiling. So if we are looking at the 2 new contenders at welterweight, Michael Morales and Carlos Prates, and you watch the eye test and you're like, oh, that guy's really athletic, but so is Carlos Prates, and Michael Morales is very big, but Carlos Prates is a very adept striker. Michael Morales is a good striker too. Carlos Prates destroys him. Like, just beats the brakes off of him. He runs through Michael Morales like it's nobody's business. runs through him. I'm real big on Carlos Prates. I don't know if he's going to ever be a champion. He probably won't, but he's very fun to watch. Must-see TV every single time. Now, the curtain jerker for UFC 322 was Benoit Saint-Denis and Beneil Dariush, and I'm going to talk about 100 times longer than the actual fight went. I've seen enough. Give Benoit Saint-Denis Ilia Topuria. Like, what a win. 16 seconds is all it took for him to put away Beneil Dariush. Dariush said, hey, look at this giant French guy. What if I grab him? What if I get into a clinch with him and Benoit Saint-Denis like, oh, boom, over the top. And like he just conks his head on the mat. Just literally like falls forward. Boom! Huge explosion. And he protested the finish a little, but like, nah, dude, you the way you fell, like it was that. It was just one punch. Batter him in the clinch. Beat the snot out of him. We don't really learn much from Benoit Saint-Denis because his problem against Moicano and against Dustin Poirier was he goes too fast and he gets himself in a cardio deficit. But you go look at his last two fights, which was what? Prepolek and Ruffy. Marcuccio Ruffy was like the type of fighter he can beat. Like, that's the type of fight he wins because Ruffy has like issues with wrestling. Like, we knew that about Marcuccio Ruffy. But you really don't learn much about Benoit Saint-Denis from this. Really cool finish. And when I say like give him Ilia Topuria, it's the size that really changes for me because Benoit's a really good wrestler. He's chaotic, but he's also chinny. So Ilia probably does knock him out. But the chaos that he's going to bring, like if he does bring the chaos and gets Ilia to the ground, like it'd be crazy to see Ilia on his back, right? Like that doesn't happen. It is a good wrestler. People don't think about that, but like Ilia Topuria is a good wrestler, very good wrestler. So, what kind of skills are we going to see in that kind of a fight? And that's what I want to see. That's kind of 16 seconds. What else can I say? Poor Benny got chin issues and he got conked on the head by a giant French special service guy. Pretty cool. I mean, let's be real. Sucks for Dariush and his friends and family, but it was cool to see that happen because like Benoit is the man. We know he's very, very good. And people called the Dustin Poirier and the Renato Moicano fights fraud checks, and it really wasn't because he's good. He just needed to learn something, that he's not invincible. He can't just walk through people. Bo Nickel. Oh, yeah. Bo Nickel beat Rodolfo Vieira in a quite boring fight. Everybody wants to talk about the high kick, which is cool. But the moral of the story was like Nickel, he's not the Khabib Nurmagomedov everybody wants him to be. He bounced back from the Renner to Ritter fight in a decent fashion. He won at Wrath. But he's not going to go out there and ragdoll somebody, even though he did to Rodolfo Vieira in the first round. He picked him up and slammed him, but he's not going to ground and pound you. He hasn't quite put that together yet. Once he does, watch out because he's going to be a problem. But I don't know if he'll overdo it at this point. RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez just beat up Roman Kopylov for 3 rounds. That was, Kopilov's kind of over the hill now. RoboCop, a.k.a. Barack Obama, he gets another win, 18-6. What is that for him? How many in a row since that Canada? Oh, yeah, knocked out Hermanson. That's 2 in a row now. Aaron Blanchfield looked really good against Tracy Cortez. Got a no-hooks rear naked choke. Looks like Cortez kind of just gave up there, for being honest. Ethan Ewing upset Malcolm Wellmaker on 2 days' notice. Just goes to show you, like, these guys are good, but you gotta be prepared for wrestling. And this dude is really good. Kyle Dawkins beat Gerald Mearshart. Poor Gerald Mearshart. 50 seconds. Kyle Dawkins, he's looking good. Shepe Mariscal and Pat Sabatini had a fun fight. Again, Pat Sabatini's wrestling is very good. And Shepe manages to get taken down a lot, so we kind of saw that coming. Fatima Klein and Angela Hill. Susarkayev beat Eric McConico, and it was kind of underwhelming, even though it was a knockout. And then Mateus Camilo beat Slava Claus, Vladislav Borshev, and probably need to let Borshev go kickbox or something because he's not about it anymore. UFC 322 delivered 2 main attractions. Shevchenko and Islam Makhachev got a win in boring ways, let's be honest. But it was a historic night. You know, we saw some big happenings in the history of the sport, but also had some really cool knockouts. You know, Benoit, Denis, Carlos Prates, and Michael Morales. Those three guys back to back to back, along with Bo Nickal's high kick. Entertaining night. So, yeah. Fight Finders, my pride and joy, my docu-series is coming out. I'm also doing a video about a Irish folklore, Thomas the Strong. I had a cool guest coming on expert to come talk about that. You guys are going to love it. But Fight Finders, episode 8 is out right now. You want to check it out because it's about beach wrestling. If you want to be prepared for Islam Makhachev, you need to learn how to wrestle in the beach because that doesn't make sense. But, you know, check it out. That's where it's at.